Alright, time for episode 2. Before we dive into the trading post, let's take a look at a Reddit thread of a player who was banned for being too efficient. Like many others, he was banned for the endless upgrade extractor. The difference? He didn't automate anything. He's just that good when it comes to moving his mouse. Someone should give this man a sponsorship and go check out the videos, because they're mind-blowing. Let's move on to the trading post now. Globs of Ectoplasm's price keeps creeping up, with supply dwindling and being at an all-time low. If you wonder how much has changed since Secrets of the Obscure, this graph should tell you everything. Unlike last week, piles of crystalline dust are finally catching on as well, which means that it's once again more profitable to salvage your Ectos and sell the dust on the trading post. Whatever you do not consume or craft up your blue luck. Instead, you should be making great lucky lanterns, which is a far more profitable endeavor. Tier 6 materials had a somewhat volatile week, with some prices going up by 20% before falling back to their early levels. The ones to keep an eye out for are piles of crystalline dust and armored scales, which are both more in demand than there is an actual supply. We could maybe add totems to the list, as the supply and demand keeps overtaking each other. If you want to farm any of these, make sure to still focus on vials of blood, totems, venom sacks, and since this week, scales, in that order. The reason being that you can throw the tier 5 versions, which you're bound to get, into the Mystic Forge and squeeze out even more value. You can find videos on how to farm everything I mentioned in the pinned comment. If you choose to go for Ectos, you'll be mainly acquiring them through Unidentified Gear, which has been going through market highs and lows since the legendary relic was announced. All 3 rarities are once again worth salvaging yourself, as long as you use the right kit. This holds especially true for masterwork and rare pieces, as you take quite a hit if you sell those on the trading post directly. When processing them, you're also bound to get charms, symbols and lucent modes, which seem to be finally settling down. Since a legendary relic requires quite an extraordinary amount of piles of lucent crystal, the price of modes has only been going up. Make sure to sell them directly though, because crafting crystals is less profitable. Weekly rifts and convergences are still worth farming as well, as uncommon and rare cryptis motivations are still selling at a premium. Crafting common motivations with the intent to sell them is less worth it, but those don't require any essences to craft. Crafting them will still save you a couple of silver when upgrading them to uncommon or rare ones though. If you ever want to see a stupid way of losing gold, check out the highest sell listing of Mystic coins. One person is selling 2 coins for 1000 gold each, which means they had to pay a 100 gold listing fee. Now on to some Gemstore news. This week the Smooth Berry die kit was introduced. Buying these in the hopes of making a profit is most likely a bad idea. 19 out of 20 dice are virtually worthless, but if you're the lucky person who gets one of the exclusive dice, you can probably sell them for a good chunk of gold right now and hope to buy them back later once the price has settled down. Lastly, one of my videos bumped up the price of the Glyph of the Crucible, which is never my intention, but informing the player base of its potential definitely was. If you're wondering whether they are still worth buying at 25 gold, you'd need to mine about 1250 platinum to pay a single one off. I cannot tell you whether that's a good or a bad deal for you, but this should give you an idea if you take a look at your own gameplay habits. And if you like gathering, make sure to do some muscle farming. An average run with Techit's route will net you around 11.5 gold, which isn't too bad for 15 minutes of work and can be done every hour. We have one more week before the Super Adventure Box makes its reappearance, so enjoy your weekly farms and activities before we all take a trip back to 8-bit Tyria. I now focus on making videos full time, and if you wanna help me in this endeavor, feel free to join the channel. This is probably the one OnlyFans membership your spouse won't kick you out of the house for, and if they do, just join my Discord.